Well, hello. This is Heather Picken, and welcome to Creating Your Fearless Vision. I am your fearless guide, and my specialty is helping you to break through the limitations of your mind so that you can get anything that you want. And I deal with a specific formula that is based on neuroscience, that is also based on psychology to empower you as a woman so that you can live a fulfilling life. Now, can you do me a favor? If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Also, comment below and subscribe to my channel because I update this channel frequently and you will be notified with new videos. Also, comment below if you want me to do a specific topic. I'm open to your suggestions. I'm also doing every month, I'm doing a drawing. So you can win a copy of my book, The La Dolce Vita Formula, A Woman's Guide to Living a Fearless and Fabulous Life. I break down the science, psychology, and philosophy of how you can get through anything. And I use stories of clients I've worked with. I use my own personal story. And I thought today would be a great topic and talking about not just fear, but how to overcome failure and setbacks. Now, I want to tell you, a lot of women have been raised as little girls to run away from failure like prey, whereas boys, they're eating it for breakfast. So I'm on a mission. I'm a woman on a mission, and I'm here to empower women to go after their biggest dreams. Now, all too often, what happens is that you might do something, take action on something, and you quote unquote fail. Now, I say quote unquote fail because there's no such thing as failure if you look at that as failure, right? You can change the meaning of failure, and we might get into that later today in this video. But I want you to really change your perception. We're going to be talking about that, changing your perception on failure and how to navigate around those setbacks. So number one, realize that in order for you to master any area of your life, you have to quote unquote fail. You're going to misstep. There's going to be things blowing up in your face. And if you have the courage to go after your fearless vision, guess what? You're going to fail. But guess what? You're also going to get one step closer to actualizing the fearless vision. And this is what I do with clients all day long. They tell me what they want and I show them how to get there, and it's very quick. It does not take years of being stuck. The reason why you're stuck is you just don't have the tools. Okay, so we can talk about any failure, any setback, and I will tell you there's a way to transform that failure, and it is through your perceptions. So I like to give case studies of clients I've worked with throughout the years, or even current clients that I'm working with right now. And let's take the context of, let's just say your marriage didn't work out and you're beating yourself up and you're labeling yourself as a failure. And in your mind, it's a quote unquote setback. I'm actually working with clients right now that are going through divorces. And, one of the things as a woman, you have to realize also that we have lived for other people's approval. Okay. Not all of you, but maybe some of you. If you perceive that you're a failure because your relationship or marriage didn't work out, would you agree you're taking on the approval of other people? So typically what I find, it's a mother or father or both. Okay. So without revealing my clients' names, I really, I kind of stand guard of their names. I'm not going to publicize that, but I want to use their stories and why this is so important. So I'm working with a client who wanted to get a divorce. She tried to work things out. She tried to get therapy, but she got to this place of going, I don't know what to do. Okay. And one of the reasons why she was not making a decision to get a divorce, you know what it was? It was that she felt like she had failed and she was living for the approval of her family. And a lot of times women do that. They make other people's opinions more important than their own, and you'll never get ahead. So realize or ask yourself, what is the quote unquote failure? Is it a failed marriage, or is it a failed relationship? And what if you were to switch how you perceived that event? And this is how you can change any perception, any trauma or drama in your life, divorce, death, doesn't matter, any kind of quote unquote destruction that is running your psychology, because we've been taught as society, for some reason, if we fail, we're a screw up, right? I always say I'm the queen of failures, but it has allowed me to move forward in my business and in my life. Let me give you an example of relationships. So for many years, I had failed from my relationships. And what was interesting is I was really surprised each time the relationship didn't work. I did not label myself as a failure. What I did is I looked at that situation as information. Okay. So it's not about failure, it's about data. So that data that I was dealing with the quote unquote failed relationships, it was really the evidence that I needed to change that next relationship. So when you fail, right, number one, change your perception, give it a different label. Okay. So if using the word fail kind of triggers you, find another word. Find another word, like it didn't work out, or a phrase, whatever you want to use. So comment below, what is the phrase you're going to use to transform failure? It could be next, right? It could be like, I need more data, right? I need more data to make a decision. So find a creative way to transform the meaning of the word failure, or you can use the word failure. It doesn't really matter, but comment below. Let me know what you come up with. So you want to change your perception, and you want to look at the data. You want to ask yourself, okay, what is it that I did that created this? Okay. Why would you want that? Well, how are you going to move forward in any area of your life if you don't dissect the data, right? So if we take in the context of a relationship, now I want to use myself as an example. I'm a perfect example of relationships not working out. I'm in a great relationship now. I'm actually engaged. But my data went something like this. I would get into a pattern of going out with different men that were trying to change me. They didn't like that I like to be healthy and work out at the gym. I had a boyfriend that told me that I was too focused on working out. What was interesting is he didn't like to work out at all, and he was overweight. So isn't that interesting how people try to make you wrong, especially in relationships, because they don't honor you for you. So I realized when I was scanning my different relationships, how that was an important piece of data. The relationships that didn't work out, and took me years to figure this out. The relationships that didn't work out, there was a correlation. There was a reoccurring pattern and theme with the data that I came up with. So that was, a man not really accepting me for me, number one. I could not speak my truth. And as I was building my business and my brand, they were intimidated by me. And can you see how that would create failure? But really, is it really failure? It's really data, right? Is it data or data? Potato or patata? Correct me if I'm wrong. So anyways, you want to look at that data. Now, another thing you want to do is overcoming setbacks and failures. This is why a lot of clients come to me, especially women, who can't deal with the emotions and they keep beating themselves up. You don't want to beat yourself up, okay? What you want to do is you want to have your 5-minute pity party, 5 minutes, set your phone, where's my phone? Set your phone to 5 minutes. I'm kind of joking, but I am serious. Is you want to allow yourself to express your emotions. I think as women, we definitely tend to be a little bit more emotional. And it's important to honor yourself, express your feelings, but you don't want to stay there. Because if you try to stay in the failure energy, you keep rewriting that story over and over again, over and over again. And here's how your subconscious mind works. 95% of your beliefs, habits, and behaviors come from your subconscious mind. If you're trying to change the pattern of your perception, then you have to change the time in which you're reacting, right? So you're automatically reacting, oh my gosh, I failed, but you're changing the behavior. And if you want to change, anything, you have to understand what is going on. Am I reacting, or am I having reflective awareness? So it's giving a different meaning to the word failure. So when something doesn't work out with me, I'm going to use myself as an example, my personal or business, one of the things I will do is, again, I'll look at the data. I'll say, okay, why did this not work out? What do I need to do? And really shift my emotions. I allow myself to express how I feel. And then I focus on my fearless vision of what I want in that particular area. Okay, so let me give you a story. Before I met my now fiance, I was in that reoccurring pattern and theme I was talking about. And after the last relationship didn't work out, it gave me fuel to get clear on my fearless vision that I was going to attract a man that loved me for me, that I was going to attract a man that was aligned also with my fearless vision. And I kind of made a game out of it. I made it fun. I made it light. I think a lot of times what happens with women is, if you're trying to get yourself back out there in the dating world, is you put a lot of pressure on yourself. I didn't. And what happened as a result, within 2 weeks, by getting clear on my fearless vision. So first I let go of the failure. I got clear on my fearless vision, and I attracted my now fiance, because I was able to change the way that I was looking at failure. So a lot of times what happens with women is they will give themselves a story, it didn't work out. Then emotionally, they get addicted to the story. So if you're giving yourself a story as to why things didn't work out, blaming yourself because you quote unquote failed, I want to challenge you to look at failure in a different light. You want to rename it. You want to manage your energy and emotions. And the last thing I will say about overcoming setbacks and failures, there's always a silver lining. And what happens, because we're wired and we're programmed, most women, to beat ourselves up, we don't look at the upside. We're focused on the downside. So can you see how you keep rewiring it into your subconscious mind that you're a loser, right? When something doesn't work out, but you're not a loser. You're absolutely amazing because you're watching this video, right? But anyways, you want to change the way that you're giving that meaning by focusing on the benefits of that not working out. Okay. So I like to use the example of a relationship. When my last relationship didn't work out, I looked at all the benefits. And you want to sit down and do this exercise, because I can take any so-called failure and literally help you to transform it just like that. That is important, because if you want to get into another relationship, you better believe you should transform those feelings. Otherwise, you bring that into baggage in other areas of your life. So because I was able to do that, I was able to see the balance of both sides, right? Because my perceptions were lopsided. That's how I aligned myself to the relationship that I'm in today. Also look at your failures around business. I have worked with entrepreneurs that have lost millions in their business. How do you get over the so-called failures of losing money or bankruptcy or investing in a coach or a mentor? And I will tell you, it is transforming the perceptions that are creating imbalances in your mind. And when you don't do this, there's actually a study in science. There's a whole branch of science or I should say it's a study in science called neuroimmunology, and it's the study of how the mind creates disease. So if you don't balance your perceptions around failure, would you agree that you're holding that back subconsciously? You're internalizing that, you're creating that. Your cells have memory, right? And so when you're carrying that emotional baggage, the more negatively charged you feel like that situation is, then you start creating quote unquote dis-ease in your body. Your body actually goes back to primitive stages. We now know this through epigenetics. I'm not going to go through that. I'm not going to talk about this because that's a huge subject. But I want you as a woman to feel like you have power. So the number one thing that you have power of, do you know what that is? It's altering your perceptions. So I'm challenging you to alter your perceptions around failure. The last thing I will say is study successful women in the area that you feel like you're quote unquote failing. Like if you feel like you're failing in business. I like to use the example of Sarah Blakely, who started the company called Spanx. I think you know what that company is, the undergarments. And what was interesting is her father used failure as a formula to success. And he would ask her, as a little girl, every single week, where did you fail? And that taught her how to look at failure in a different light. Another example is Barbara Cochran or Cochran. I don't know how you pronounce her name. Anyways, a Shark Tank investor. Everyone knows, mostly everyone knows who she is. But I was reading an interview about her success. Actually, it was a TED Talk that she did. And she said success really was on the heels of failure. Okay. So study successful people. Look at that reoccurring pattern and theme and the things that they've done. And I find as women, this gives us fuel to realize we're not alone. I don't have time to share all my failures with you, but I will tell you, failure is part of my formula for creating my fearless vision. So if you found this formula or this video to be helpful, please make sure that you press subscribe, give it a thumbs up, and go ahead and go to heatherpicken.com. Check out my free resources there. And until next time, this is Heather Picken, and live fearlessly.